A girl lived through hell with her stepfather, but a K9 dog did something that will shock you. The sun peeked through the thick canopy of trees, casting flickering shadows on the shallow creek. Birds chirped in the distance, but beneath the serene surface of the woods, something dark played out in silence. In the middle of the creek, a young white girl around 9 years old knelt with trembling knees on the slick rocks, water swirling around her legs. Her mud-soaked brown dress clung to her skinny frame. Her hair, drenched and tangled, stuck to her cheeks, and her mouth was open, not to speak, not to cry, but to gasp for breath through terror. Before her stood a man, Carl, her stepfather, a broad-chested, weathered white man with sleeves rolled and fury clenched between his teeth. In his right hand he held a twisted stick, long, rough, freshly snapped from a tree. His other hand gripped Lila's wrist so tight that her fingers were turning pale. "You think you can lie to me?" he barked. "You think I'm stupid?" She shook her head violently, but no sound escaped her throat. Carl raised the stick. The world held its breath. This wasn't the first time, and Lila knew it wouldn't be the last. 2 years ago, her mother died of pneumonia in their freezing trailer. No heater, no care. Carl was all she had left, and he reminded her of that daily. "You're lucky I didn't leave you in a ditch," he used to say. She believed him. No one at school noticed the bruises, or maybe they didn't care. Carl kept her home most days anyway. She cooked, cleaned, endured, and when he dragged her out into the woods, no one ever followed. But this time was different. Someone was watching. Just beyond the trees, a shadow crouched low to the ground. It was a German shepherd, muscles tight, eyes locked on the man in the creek. The letters K9 gleamed on the black vest strapped across its body. His name was Echo, trained for search and rescue, assigned to a missing persons exercise an hour earlier, but Echo had sensed something else, something stronger than his command. A cry without sound, a scent of fear in the wind. He broke off from his unit, disobeyed the leash, and he ran. Carl's voice rose again. "You lied about breaking that dish. You think I don't know when a little brat's lying to me?" Lila winced, raising her arms to shield herself. Her body knew what was coming, even if her mind wanted to disappear. The stick came down. But so did Echo. Bursting from the tree line like a cannon, paws splashing through the creek, the dog let out a thunderous snarl. Carl turned too late. The stick was still mid-air when Echo lunged at his arm with terrifying precision. Carl screamed, stumbling backward. His boot slipped on the rocks. The stick flew from his hand as he crashed into the water. Lila screamed too, but not in pain. It was the sound of shock, the sound of watching something impossible unfold. Echo stood between her and Carl now, growling low, his eyes burning with intent. But he didn't attack again. He just stood there, guarding her, protecting her like someone should have long ago. Carl scrambled to his feet, drenched and furious. "What the hell?" Before he could move, Echo growled again, this time deeper. Carl froze. Lila didn't run. She didn't cry. She just stared at the dog like she was seeing the first good thing to ever enter her life. From the woods, the sound of boots crunching on leaves broke the silence. A woman's voice followed. "Echo?" A uniformed officer came sprinting into the clearing. Blonde, winded, badge on her chest, Deputy Clara Monroe. Her eyes locked onto the scene. A little girl kneeling in a creek. A man soaking wet, red-faced, shaking. A K9 unit in full defensive posture. "What happened here?" Clara demanded, approaching slowly. Carl raised a hand, stammering, I was just disciplining my kid. The dog came out of nowhere, attacked me. But Lila, still silent, didn't nod, didn't confirm. Instead, her eyes filled with something that surprised even her. Hope. Clara knelt beside her. Sweetheart, are you okay? Did he hurt you? Lila didn't answer. Her lips moved once, then again. Finally, she whispered, He always hurts me. Clara stood. Carl laughed nervously. She's making it up. Turn around, Clara ordered, voice like steel. Now! What? I didn't do anything. Turn around. The handcuffs clicked loud and clear. Carl was arrested on the spot, screaming protests that echoed into the trees. Lila didn't watch him go. She watched Echo. The dog padded toward her slowly, sat down, let her touch his fur. And when she did, her lip quivered. She leaned forward and hugged him, the first safe touch she'd known in years. The ride to the station was quiet, except for the hum of the cruiser and the soft, rhythmic breathing of the K-9 officer curled next to the girl in the back seat. Deputy Clara Monroe glanced in the rearview mirror again. The little girl still hadn't said much. Her mud-stained brown dress was now drying in the sun, but her hands trembled slightly as they stroked the German shepherd's back. Every so often, she'd whisper a word, barely audible. Good boy, good boy. Echo didn't move. He stayed right beside her, as if he knew. At the station, Clara wrapped her in a towel, handed her a cup of cocoa, and squatted to eye level. What's your name, sweetheart? Layla. Okay, Lila, Clara said gently. You're safe now. He can't hurt you any more. Lila blinked at her. No one ever believed me before, she murmured. Clara's voice cracked. Well, I do. Over the next few hours, everything unraveled. Social services were called. Medical staff examined Lila, documenting the bruises, old scars, the quiet flinches at sudden movement. Carl's history surfaced. 2 complaints in another county, both dismissed. No witnesses, no proof. Just a man and a girl alone in the woods. Until now. Now, there was Echo. The K-9 unit's camera vest had captured the moment Carl raised the stick, Lila's frozen fear, and the charge through the creek. It was all on record. But what mattered more was what happened next. Clara didn't just hand Lila over to a caseworker. She stayed, visited, checked in every day for a week. She brought Echo, too. The girl who once trembled at loud voices now lit up at the sound of paws on her porch. Echo became her shadow. He followed her through foster visits. He waited outside courtrooms. And when Carl finally stood trial, it was Lila's trembling voice that filled the silence of the courtroom. He told me no one would ever save me, but someone did. His name was Echo. The jury didn't take long. Months passed. Lila began therapy. She started attending school regularly for the first time. She wore clean clothes now, brushed her hair, and kept Echo's photo in the front pocket of her backpack. Clara asked her once, "Do you want me to bring him next week?" Lila smiled shyly. "Only if he wants to see me." Echo did. One day, after class, Clara knelt beside Lila at the edge of the schoolyard. "There's something I want to ask you." Lila looked up. "I'm moving to a house with a big yard," Clara said, her eyes bright. "I've talked to your caseworker. I'd like to become your foster mom, if you'd let me." Lila didn't answer at first. She looked at Echo, then at Clara, then back at Echo, and whispered, "Does he get to come too?" Clara laughed through tears. "I don't think he'd let us leave him behind." The adoption papers were signed before spring ended, And that summer, the town celebrated something rare, a second chance. A once silent girl, once trapped in fear, now raced across a grassy field in a yellow dress, hair flying behind her, a retired K9 dog barking joyfully at her heels. They weren't just a rescue story. They were a family. In a quiet frame hung in the Monroe family's living room, there was a photo, a girl holding a wooden stick, not to fear it, but to throw it, a dog mid-air leaping to catch it, and a woman laughing nearby, arms crossed, watching the miracle unfold. At the bottom of the frame, in gold lettering, were the words, "He didn't just bite a monster, he broke a curse." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.